Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. As promised, I got my predictions after looking through the schedule, and here we go. So, start off with the AFC East. I have Buffalo winning the division at 9-7. Having Stephon Diggs added to the team, having a pretty good draft. I feel like there's only room for improvement there with a good coaching staff and a good defense. And now that Tom Brady's out of the division. Second place, I have Miami. They improved not only from the draft and all the draft picks they had, but they also did a really good job of free agency, bringing in some experienced players to go on with their long players. But since they still have a lot of young players, they're going to need time to improve. Plus, I don't feel like Tua is going to start at the beginning, or if at all for the first season, maybe. So they're not quite there yet. And then once Tua can be a full-time starter next season, that's where you can expect a big improvement. But Miami second. I have Jets third at 5-11. Now this is kind of a foolish record, like because their schedule's so hard and stuff. The Jets actually will be better than their record indicates. But 5-11 is where I see them at because of their tough schedule. New England have 3-13. I mean Stidham, even if he turns out to be okay quarterback, like they have no weapons on offense whatsoever. And while they should still have a good defense, they lost a lot of key defensive players. So it's just gonna be hard for them to cover for New England to cover just in one season, just like that. So that's why I'm in 13. Then in the AFC North, I have Baltimore winning division 12-4. That should be explained right now. They were 14-2 last year, but I feel like there's gonna be a few games where they kind of slip up, just because teams may or may not have caught up to Lamar Jackson and their style of play, and I feel like a few teams can kind of figure them out. Then I have Cleveland 10-6. Now originally I thought Cleveland was going to be like an 8-8 team or 9-7 team, but based off their schedule, I was able to give them an extra win, so to get them at 10-6. I like their schedule. Now they're gonna be horrible to start off. They have a rough first half schedule, but after the bye week and the second half schedule, it's kind of smooth sailing from there. Pittsburgh I have at 9-7. I'm not sure how Big Ben is going to be because if Big Ben's okay, if Big Ben's like Hall of Fame caliber level again after surgery, then Pittsburgh will be better. But if he's just average, having the 9-7, or if he can't perform at all and they rely on their backup quarterbacks again, then they won't be going 8-8. But I feel like Ben will be at least average, so I'm going 9-7. Cincinnati, I'm going 5-11, which I know a lot of people feel like this is an exaggeration. Like a lot of people want to win like 2 or 3 games, but I feel like there's a couple games, especially towards the end of the season, where they can get some upsets because they'll kind of have a rhythm going by then. Because things are going to be rough to start off because of not getting a lot of training and stuff like that. So expect them to have a rough start. Okay, now the AFC South. I have Indianapolis winning division 11-5. Philip Rivers first year. And Philip Rivers, in my opinion, is still on decline because the team around him now got a lot better in general. And the division is a winnable division. It's not like he has to compete with Pat Mahomes. So I feel like he can be able to win this division. And then Tennessee, I have it 10-6. I 10-6 is better than what they were when they went into the playoffs at 9-7. But last year, but I feel like Ryan Tannehill will come down a little bit, like because in my opinion, he's not that great of a quarterback. But there's some teams where he can be able to take advantage of, and there's some teams where they can be able to just do what they did in the playoffs, and even though he doesn't do great, they can still win games because of that. And I love Tennessee's head coach. I feel like this past playoff showed him that he can coach. He's going to be one of the better coaches in the NFL for a while. Next, I have Houston at 9-7. Because of Houston's talent, Deshaun Watson mainly, they're still going to have one record, but because of the noisy offseason and getting rid of Dodger Hopkins and stuff like that, I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a mess, and they're going to barely miss out on the playoffs. And then Jacksonville at 2-14, they're obviously tanking. No ifs, buts about it. AFC West, I have Kansas City at 12-4, winning the division. I have Denver at 10-6. So as you can see, they vastly improved from last season. Now, there's still going to be some rough patches for Drew Lock because he only played a few games as a rookie last year. So as a sophomore and playing a full season, he's going to go through some ups and downs. But with the wide receivers that they drafted and they already have a good defense, Denver can easily compete. And then for the LA Chargers, a lot of people have the LA Chargers either making the playoffs or barely missing out, like winning at least 8 games or so. But I actually have the Chargers winning 6 games. Like I have them doing okay to start off, but after their bye week and when they get to the second stretch of the season, I feel like they're gonna get exposed, and I feel that they're not a playoff team and they're just kind of an okay team. And it's hard to tell you he can play, but again, I feel like he's just kind of like a filler quarterback until Justin Herbert's ready to take over the reins. So I have them at 6-10, and again they could be better than 6-10, but their record won't indicate it. And the same with Las Vegas. I feel like they'll be better, but again, like them and the Jets and stuff, their record won't indicate it. I have Las Vegas going to 5-11. It's not what you want for your first year in Vegas. But if they can have a successful draft next season, get a bunch of more defensive players, because defense is their main issue. And then also they have to decide if Derek Carr is their future or not. So now going on to the NFC, start with the NFC East. So I have Dallas. At first I thought Philadelphia was going to win the division, but after looking through the schedule, I'm like, actually Dallas could win the division. So I have Dallas winning the division at 10-6. They're gonna start off really good and then kind of struggle towards the end of the season. But luckily, they're a good enough start. Helps like negate towards the bad play at the end of the season. But then also the key game, December 27th, when they host Philadelphia this time, versus last year where they hosted first and then played at Philadelphia. But since they host Philadelphia, I feel like that's gonna be the game side who wins the division. I feel like since it's at home, I feel like Dallas will take care of business and win. And then Philadelphia also have at 10-6. Again, they're going to be really good to start off the season. They have to go at San Francisco at Pittsburgh in the early stretch. Those two be losses, better than that. They'll win a bunch of games, but then they have a tough stretch. They have to go at Cleveland versus Seattle, at Green Bay versus New Orleans, at Arizona, at Dallas. So that's going to be a tough stretch for them. I feel they're going to fall to there, especially we are not even sure Wentz is going to be healthy by then. If he's not healthy by then, yeah, they're definitely. But even if he is, I feel like this is going to be a tough stretch. Washington, I have a 4-12. They're better than a few teams, but that's pretty much it's going to be hard for Washington to get a bunch of wins with new head coach and new everything. So I just feel like it's not going to be their year. Although their defense will be good and they'll be interesting to watch. And then the New York Giants, a lot of people have them winning 4 games, 5 games, or something along those lines. I just don't see it. I only have them winning 1 game, and that's when they host the Redskins because of that home. Like their schedule is just not favorable. Because like the only other teams that are kind of on their level that they could win is when they have to go to Cincinnati. But again, I feel like Joe Burrow and that offense should be better than Danny Dimes. So that's why I feel like they're just not going to do good. Of course, there's always slip-ups in the NFL when bad teams beat good teams, so that should happen. So that's why they might have winning even 2 or 3 games, but yeah, I just don't see it. So now going to the NFC North, I have Minnesota winning the division, surprisingly, 9-7. They're just gonna be inconsistent, but one thing that will remain is that they're gonna be a pretty good team. Like even their losses, they're gonna be like good losses where they are close because they just have a good roster. And then Chicago, I have a 9-7. Now this is all based on like maybe on like Nick Foles playing, or even Trubisky starting and then Nick Foles taking over. If Trubisky plays throughout the season, then I don't think they're going to be 9-7. But assuming Foles plays a lot at some point, I feel like Foles can get them to playoff contention with that good defense. Green Bay also have 9-7, so as you see a triple tie here for first within the division. I have again Green Bay got lucky in a lot of games last year, and I feel like that won't be the case this year, especially since they did not get any help for Aaron Rodgers at all. So especially all the road games, I feel like they're not going to do that good. So, and then Detroit, I have them at 1-15. Again, they could win 3 or 4 games or so, but I just don't see it. And their one game I have them winning is when they host Washington. And then going to the NFC South, I have New Orleans winning the division at 12-4. They have a tough November schedule, but other than that, I feel like they, especially beginning since most of the pieces are returning and they got a continuity. I feel like that's going to be an advantage for them starting out. Like I have them starting off 7-0 before they lose their first game. That's losing at Tampa Bay. But yeah, so that the New Orleans one's going to be a good team. Tampa Bay, I have it 11-5. They're going to be they're going to struggle to start off because they don't have the continuity per se, but then they're going to get better. And they play, but once they start off and get on the roll, like then they're going to win a bunch of games. And then Atlanta, I had them going 8-8. Now this is going to be one of the teams like that they're pretty good, but their record won't indicate it because especially for this division's one of the toughest. It's going to be super tough. I have them struggling to start off, but then getting some momentum towards the end of the season. But then they'll lose. But then their last 2 games are at Kansas City and at Tampa Bay, so that's why they're going to basically get out of playoff contention. Um, so then Carolina, I have them last at 7-9. Again, the record will indicate how much they improved and are a pretty good team because it's such a tough division. But watch out for Carolina; they're going to be one of the sneaky teams. I'd be surprised they make it to the playoffs, but they can easily be in the fight like Atlanta. And then with the NFC West, I have San Francisco and Seattle tied for first. But the last game of the season is in San Francisco, and I have San Francisco winning that game to lock up winning the division, even though they'll split in the regular season, in my opinion. San Francisco's schedule is very easy, so if they show signs of a Super Bowl hangover, that's on them because they have a pretty easy schedule, so they should take care of business. Seattle has a little bit of a tougher schedule, but I like their roster and like what they've done. So I feel like they can overcome it. Arizona will be an interesting team. That I feel like they'll. A lot of people have them winning at best 8 games, but a lot of people are like 6, 7 games. But I actually have them winning 9 games. They're going to be a bad road team, in my opinion, especially with a sophomore quarterback. Still bad defense, but like at home, I feel like they can play hard and take advantage and steal some wins, especially now with a better offense than they had last year. And then the LA Rams, I have last at 8-8. Again, one of those teams that could be better, but with a tough division, the record's going to be a little bit deceiving here. I feel like they're just going to be too consistent and be one-dimensional because we're not sure if they're going to have a proven running back or not. They got one in the second round, but I'm not sure if he's going to prove it or not, at least with his rookie season. So to wrap up the playoff teams, will be in the AFC. I have the number 1 seed going to Baltimore because I have Baltimore beating Kansas City in their regular season matchup since it's in Baltimore week 3. So I have Baltimore first at 12-4, Kansas City second at 12-4, Indianapolis third seed at 11-5, and then Buffalo 4th seed at 9-7. So then for the 3 playoff teams, I have Denver as a 5 seed at 10-6, Tennessee as a 6 seed again like last year, 10-6, and then Cleveland 7 at 10-6. Cleveland finally makes the playoffs after all these years. Now there are other teams that are going to be in the conversation, like because I have Pittsburgh and Houston both at 9-7. So they're both worthy candidates to be in the playoffs as well in case if Cleveland or Denver ends up not living to the hype. But those are my top 7. And in the NFC, I have New Orleans as the number 1 seed because I have New Orleans winning against San Francisco head-to-head matchup this time around, unlike last year. And the San Francisco is the 2 seed, 12-4. 3rd seed, I have Dallas, 10-6. 4th seed, Minnesota, 9-7. 5 seed, Seattle at 12-4. 6 seed Tampa Bay 11-5, and then 7 seed Philadelphia 10-6. So there's going to be some other teams that are good, but are going to miss out, like Chicago and Green Bay and Arizona, all being 9-7 and barely missing out. So as you see in my prediction, like if you're 9-7, if you don't win in your division, you're basically not making the playoffs. Unlike normal where you could, I feel like there's going to be a lot of. I feel like the top of the pack is going to separate itself from the rest of the pack. So, because there's so many good teams, I feel like you gotta win at least double digits if you want to secure yourselves in the playoffs. So those are my predictions for the schedules. I'll go over another day what would happen based off my playoff scenario, and I'm also another day I'm going to talk about what how the conference call with the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver went with the players and kind of talk about their ideas, what they're going to do for the playoffs, and then see if I agree with it or not. Thank you very much for listening to Durrett's Take, and you have a wonderful Monday.